When the only constant in life is change, you need to be ready. This is the Man-Made Survival Show.
Hello everybody, my name is Jose from Man-Made Survival, and thank you so much for coming back to the channel and watching this video. I greatly appreciate it because this information is very, very important. But before I go any further, I want to start this video by thanking the following people: Chris Britz, John Rowalski, and Jonathan Arcel. Thank you so much for ordering the book. I greatly appreciate it, and I'm very honored that you have ordered the book. Hopefully you'll read it and you give me your review. I'll be looking forward to that, your honest opinion, because it's my very first book, so I'm very excited. For everybody else, I want to introduce my very first book that I've written, which is Preppers Secrete Cache. You can go to www.preppersecretcache.com and you can order the book on there, and we'll send it to you as fast as we can. I want to remind people that the book is free, all right? All we need help with is the shipping. So if you can help us with the shipping, we'll send this to you as soon as we can. Just go to www.preppersecretcache.com and you can order it on there, and we'll get it to you as quickly as possible. But all right, I want to start off with the number of dead and infected throughout the United States and also throughout the world, because we're getting really close to the 1 million mark. Throughout the world, there's 846,000 infected and 41,402 that very sadly have passed away from this virus. In the United States alone, there's 180,789 infected with 3,580 deaths. And very sadly, now we have more dead with the virus than we experienced in the 9/11 Twin Tower attack. But anyways, so things are getting from bad to worse. Things are getting critical now, and which is why here in Man-Made Survival we created this infographic. I'm gonna show it on the screen while I talk over it, and I want to show it to you. All right, the title of it is The 4 Levels in a Crisis. The first level is white, and it says, relax but alert, keeping up with the news and other developments, no need to take action. Yellow, ready for probable danger, you need to start seeing signs. Let me start over. Ready for probable danger, you start seeing signs of trouble coming your way. Take immediate inventory. Orange, immediate danger is coming to your area. People are starting to realize what you have seen coming for a while. Take shelter and be prepared to go red. Red, bug out. Everyone in place in their bugging location. Fully self-sustained infrastructure running and 24-hour perimeter checks. All right, and something that I want to tell the people is attention, Man-Made Survival family. Attention, Man-Made Survival family within the U.S. Man-Made Survival advise everyone in all regions of the U.S. to go into red. Start mobilizing to your bugging location, implementing full self-sustainability. Man-Made Survival family outside of the U.S., be wise and make choices ahead of the curve. All right, and the reason we want to do that is because things are getting very, very serious. All right, that's the reason why we're taking that step to pretty much advise or declare for people to go into red. And of course, this is for the Man-Made Survival family and all preppers alike too. If you're in a region to where you still have the opportunity to bug out to your location, I strongly advise that you do so, because there's a lot of places now in the United States that are having kind of like roadblocks. And once you go into another state, for example, Florida, they're implementing this. If you're from Florida, they'll let you through. If you come out of Florida from a hot zone or whatever, they're gonna legally make you quarantine for 14 days. And probably eventually it'll get to the point where they don't let people come through at all. So if you have the opportunity, go ahead and go to your bug out or bugging location. All right, a lot of people are not working, and if you're not working still, or you haven't been working for a while now, or you're not going to work anymore, I suggest you take the step, because things can get bad very, very fast. All right, so I want to start off with the first headline. Fauci estimates that 100,000 to 200,000 Americans could die from the virus. or from the coronavirus. This from NPR.org, and here's that video.
Well, Dr. Burke said yesterday, as you know, that she doesn't think any city will be spared from this virus. How many cases do you think the U.S. will reach? 1 million cases? 10 million cases? Or do we not even have any idea?
You know, Jake, to be honest with you, we don't really have any firm idea. There are things called models. And when someone creates a model, they put in various assumptions. And the model is only as good and as accurate as your assumptions. And whenever the modelers come in, they give a worst case scenario and a best case scenario. Generally, the reality is somewhere in the middle. I've never seen a model of the diseases that I've dealt with, which the worst case scenario actually came out. They always overshoot. So when you use numbers like 1 million, 1.5 million, 2 million, that almost certainly is off the chart. Now, it's not impossible, but very, very unlikely. So it's difficult to present. I mean, looking at what we're seeing now, you know, I would say between 100 and 200,000 cases, but I don't want to be held to that because it's deaths. I mean, we're going to have millions of cases, but I just don't think that we really need to make a projection when it's such a moving target that you can so easily be wrong and mislead people. What we do know, Jake, is that we got a serious problem in New York. We have a serious problem in New Orleans, and we're going to be developing serious problems in other areas. So although people like to model it, let's just look at the data of what we have and not worry about these worst case and best case scenarios.
All right, so you heard what he said, right? There's a best case scenario, there's a worst case scenario, and it'll be somewhere in between. But still, 100 to 200,000 people is a very devastating number. Let's not forget, though, that earlier models or other models have said that there's about 214 million infections with about 1.3 to 3 million deaths. And that's a lot of people. That's devastating, all right? So that's why you need to go ahead and take the precautions now. If you're still going to the store without any protective gear, I suggest you do it, all right? Some stores are kind of going back to normal because people are not panicking as much or as hoarding anymore. So they're able to kind of catch up on the restock. If you can find the hand sanitizer, still get it, all right? Because you're still going out. If you can find the Clorox wipes, still get them because you're still going out and you have to clean your car and you have to clean yourself before you go into your home. So those are still essentials. Doesn't mean that you're panic buying. But the headlines are starting to get more dire. Here's one of them. America's deadliest day to date. Coronavirus death toll soars to 3,180, an increase of 605 with a person dying every 2 minutes, as 22,000 new infections are recorded and experts say the worst is yet to come. That's from Daily Mail. Here's another headline. Dead bodies are loaded into refrigerated trucks outside of New York hospital after 98 people died in 7 hours, bringing city's death toll to 790 and cases to 36,221. As Mayor de Blasio warned people may be fined $500 for not staying home, and that's also from the Daily Mail. And we actually have videos of the people being loaded into the trucks. Here's the video.
Pretty ridiculous. Bodies. There's a truck that we go bodies in, bro. Bodies. This is full up with bodies. It's like a load. It's crazy. I'll show y'all this.
For the people, y'all. This is for real. This is for real. This is for real. If y'all not taking it serious, this may make you want to take it serious, okay? This is for real. My hand is shaking because it's hard to look at this right here, what I'm seeing right now. It's hard to believe this. But y'all, this is for real. This is for real. This is live from Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn Hospital. They're putting bodies in the back of a freezer truck, y'all. Please stay inside. This is for real. This is for real, y'all. Lord have mercy, help us, Lord. This is for real.
All right, so that's pretty heartbreaking, you know. It's very unfortunate that that's going on right now. So again, if you're not taking this serious or you still think it's a hoax, please just, you know, for your family's sake, just take precautions. All right. So I want to also bring the attention that this is not just affecting the people in the United States, but it's also affecting our military, and more specifically right now, our Navy. Here's a headline from Zero Hedge. Pandemonium in the Pacific. U.S. carrier diverts to Guam as COVID-19 cases spike among crew. An absolute disaster is fast unfolding aboard the aircraft carrier USS Theodore Roosevelt in the Western Pacific, causing emergency contingency plans to be put in place. But by Wednesday, 8 sailors aboard the carrier tested positive for COVID-19. But clearly the outbreak aboard the ship is nowhere near being contained, as on Thursday, the U.S. Navy said that number has jumped to 23 sailors confirmed for the virus. Pentagon officials further admitted the ability to conduct widespread testing aboard the ship is limited in a situation so dangerous that the carrier has been diverted from its original course. Through acting Navy Secretary Thomas B. Motley sought to stress, here's a quote, "The ship is operationally capable and can do its mission if required," end quote. No doubt a message ultimately meant for America's rivals and enemies in the region. And we know that China is an enemy in the region because China has, developed or, built fake islands in the Pacific. And that is an area, actually an international area that the United States will not let them have, because it's strategic with the Philippines and Thailand and so on and so forth, with Guam. But anyways, so we see that this coronavirus is impacting everywhere, and it's very devastating, not only for the populace but also for the army, and so much so that they are making the preparations, or they already are mobilizing people to go into the bunkers. Here's the next headline. NORAD, Northcon moved personnel to Cheyenne Mountain bunker amid pandemic. This from Denver.cbslocal.com. Colorado Springs, Colorado. CNN. Some of the most critical U.S. senior military commanders and nuclear and special operation forces are now operating under extraordinary protection measures to ensure that in the event of a sudden security crisis, including any potential nuclear mission, there will be enough healthy troops and leaders to carry out orders as the coronavirus pandemic grows. Here's a quote. "We are isolating specific command personnel involved in critical mission areas, including homeland defense functions," end quote. A U.S. military official at the command told CNN, quote, "To ensure we remain capable of defending the homeland despite the pandemic, our command and control watch teams here in the headquarters split into shifts," end quotes. End quote. So there you go. Now they have to take not only this serious, but they have to make the contingency plan to where they take the commanders and people of leadership into bunkers, because this can get very ugly very, very quickly. All right. Because not only can other countries take this as into advantage and attack us, all right, with a bomb or whatever. If those troops or those leaders get sick, then maybe someone who's not as capable as them or as experienced as them, could come in and they won't know what to do or how to do it. But anyways, the point is that this virus now is being taken very extremely serious. Now it's a matter of national security. All right. Now this brings me to the next point, and it makes me wonder if this is why Trump did the following. Trump authorizes activation of up to 1 million reservists to help with pandemic. This from WashingtonTimes.com. President Trump on Friday issued an executive order authorizing the Pentagon to call up as many as 1 million armed forces reservists to active duty to help deal with the coronavirus outbreak. The president order said that the Pentagon and the Department of Homeland Security are authorized to order to active duty, quote, not to exceed 24 consecutive months, end quote. Units and individual members of the Ready Reserve up to 1 million at one time as necessary. Quote, the Secretary of Defense or the Secretary of Homeland Security would ensure appropriate consultation is undertaken with relevant state officials with respect to the utilization of National Guard reserves, component units activated under this authority, the order states. The Army, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard are authorized to order units and individual members of the Red Reserves back to active duty for up to 2 years. The Ready Reserve consists primarily of former active duty service members who are discharged but have contractual obligations for a recall during a national emergency. Now, if things are not serious, why would they do that? All right. And let me remind you, this is not just to help with coronavirus, as in sick people, but to make sure that there's no, civil disturbance. And things will get dicey. Things will get crazy. Once people realize, all right, that things will get worse, there'll be panic in the streets. And the next thing we're gonna talk about it in the next video. This is gonna be a 2-part video. The next video, what we're gonna be talking about is how people are already lining up to get food, all right, from food banks and other places. And we're just at the beginning, at the very, very beginning of how bad things can get. The economic collapse hasn't even hit yet. And just people being out of work for 1 or 2 weeks, or however long it's been, and it can't be more than 2-3 weeks. They already have to line up on the food banks because there's no food. All right, I'm not knocking down on those people. I'm not criticizing those people. I understand. All right, and if you remember back in the other podcast, I talked about how 30 to 40% of Americans could not afford a $400 fix. We're seeing that right now. All right. In the next video, we're gonna talk about how things are getting bad already, and it's not even the beginning of it yet. We're not into the middle of the disaster. We're just at the very beginning of it, and things are already getting really bad. All right, so I encourage you to watch the next video because I have a lot of information on that one too. And the reason I'm explaining it half is because I didn't want this to be a very, very long video. But anyways, the point is that things are getting bad, and right now is your time. Right now is your opportunity to do what you need to do, all right, to have a self-sustained system running already as soon as you can. Because if this takes the path that it's taking, the way and the speed that it's being taken, then it won't be long before we see riots in the streets. All right, but my name is Jose Prado, Man Survival, and remember, always ready.
The Man-Made Survival Show.